Welcome to this edition of Inside the Humidor. I'm Ed Brandyberry with Josh Mills. Josh Eagle will be joining us shortly. This show is going to deal with our small batch and limited edition cigars. It's something special that's going on and growing in interest in the industry right now. Josh, what more can you add about that?
We'll be talking a little bit about some of the different ones we carry here in the store, some stuff that we don't have in the store, and just talk about all there is limited release in the cigar industry.
That's right. We have we've been a number of Avos. The Alec Bradley Fine and Rare. We have that every year. We've been getting a number of Room 101 type, the Master Collection, Uncle Lee, whoever he is, and we also have Aging Room, which as a company is basically small batch.
Entirely limited release.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Inside the Humidor. I'm Josh Eagle along with Ed Brandyberry and Josh Mills, and today we got a real fun show. We're going to talk about some limited release cigars. They're also called short run cigars, small batch cigars, but basically the premise behind a limited release or small batch is they're making a smaller production than normal, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Right.
And that's the beauty to them and why it makes them rare, hard to find, and fun to smoke. We're in Moon Township on University Boulevard. As you can see, we're inside the Humidor. Ed, talk to me a little bit about what you're about to smoke there. He's about to light up a Perdomo.
I know it surprises everyone.
Surprise.
This Perdomo is Perdomo small batch. It's a 10-year age cigar. It has a vintage number on it of 2005. This is a sun-grown wrapper. Perdomo released this in Connecticut wrapper, sun-grown wrapper, and this month we'll have a Maduro wrapper. So this is a once and gone kind of cigar for Perdomo. Whether he releases it next year or not, I don't know. Chances are he probably will, but it's not a kind of thing that's going to stay in production all year long. All Nicaraguan.
It's a nice cigar. We've all smoked that one. Looking forward to the Maduro release. Josh, what do you have?
Got the Oliva Serie V Melania Maduro. Now this is a line, the regular Melania is our full production cigar, but the Maduro is a limited release, and every year they come out with a new size. So big difference between this one and the regular is the regular Melania has an Indonesian Sumatra wrapper on there, and this one has a Mexican San Andres.
So again, that's something fun. This is a cigar they came out with this year. When they're gone, they're gone. They can and may, if they have enough tobacco, re-release them again next year. But they won't be on. They won't be on back order, so to speak.
No.
They're gone.
What I like about this one, though, that makes it kind of fun is that you know next year there's another Melania Maduro coming, but it might be a size you like, it might be a size you don't like. So this one is special. I mean, if you hang on to this one and somebody in the know saw it, they would say, "Oh wow, that's cool. That's a 2015 Torpedo. They won't make this again for how many years?" So that's kind of cool and fun.
I have the Arturo Fuente Anejo. This is released every year right around Christmas. It used to come out around Father's Day and at Christmas. They've actually shortened down the production to just be released at Christmas. So I guess it's Christmas in May because we have a couple in the shop. We kind of hidden for a little bit just for such an occasion. But it's a beautiful cigar and well worth it. You know, when these cigars go for sale, there's an MSRP on these cigars, but because the demand is high, they actually can be sold for 3 or 4 times the actual suggested retail price.
And they are.
And they do go for that online. So it's a lot of fun to have these rare cigars. On the table here we have some limited releases. This is similar to what the Oliva Maduro is. This is just this is the heritage line from Avo. They released just the size in a limited run, the Lancero. So this particular cigar is the same as the rest of the heritage line, but the size is limited to the Lancero. This is another. This one's reproduced year after year, but he calls this one fine and rare. And you'll have a vintage on the band and what year it's from. So, but it does come out every year, but it's a limited run. You can see it comes in this fancy box. This is a new one from Room 101. Uncle Lee, my favorite box top. Uncle Lee, a limited run. Comes in a little firecracker wrapper.
No relation.
No relation. But again, that's just a small sample of what they do in the limited release. Josh, what do you like about limited release cigars compared to like normal production? What would make you run out and grab one?
I don't know. As a cigar smoker, and I don't buy cigars to collect cigars, but on the same token, it is kind of fun to grab something and smoke it that you know you won't ever be able to get again. I tend to get more excited about true, one and done limited releases instead of the annual releases, unless they do something different like with the Vitolas and stuff. But whenever I hear about a limited run cigar that's only going to be, 5,000 boxes made, 10,000 boxes made, it's always tempting to go out there and grab one just so you can, smoke a couple of them now, sit on them for a little while, and wait till they're maybe a little more special. Not everybody has them, and
I think we brought up the group at the Maestro on prior episodes, and the group at the Maestro was a fun release from Monte Cristo.
And truly limited.
Truly limited. 300 boxes in production?
Yeah, 300 or 250, I forget, but either way.
Yeah, either way, that's a small amount. They were 100-count boxes, but for a group like Monte Cristo, Altadis group, that is a very, very limited run for them because they can have a small batch with 20 million cigars in it. But this particular one only had, 300 boxes, 250, 300 boxes. We did have one here at Smokestack and Moon, and we did sell it all. People were excited about that cigar.
That's right.
Because it was a limited run.
I think one thing that happens with limited edition cigars also is that sometimes you have limited editions that are true to the expectations of that brand, and then you have others where they want to push their loyal customers or bring in some other people. I think that's one of the comments that people made when the Don Pepin 10th anniversary came out. It made so many My Father Cigar customers so happy because it was just so much like his usual Don Pepin blue line, and yet it had something extra to it.
It makes sense, almost like a customer appreciation for your
Whereas
base.
in some of their other anniversary editions, there has been some criticism that they departed too much from, their kind of taste.
So there's some goods and bads with a limited release because it's going to be hit or miss.
Yeah.
The good news for the retailer and good news for the manufacturer, usually if you make a small amount, you will move them. Some, with the intentions of being small release, Boutique Blends comes to mind, and Aging Room, with the intent of it being a small release, actually won the #1 cigar of the year, which left Aging Room scrambling for the Indonesian tobacco that they needed, that they didn't have any more of, to continue production with the Cigar Aficionado's #1 cigar of the year.
#1 legal.
#1 legal cigar. It was #2 behind a cube. But they did buy that tobacco, probably at a premium. They put them back on the shelves.
Premium.
It still tastes great, but when that is gone, there is nothing backing that up. So a cigar that was the #1 legal cigar in Aficionado was technically a short run or small batch cigar. And a lot of the stuff you'll find on the lists are limited and rare.
Especially on the blogs. If you find top 20, top 25, top 30 lists that are on cigar blogs, they almost, to me, disappointingly, are dominated by limited edition, short runs, shop exclusives.
Shop exclusives is another one. That, I mean, not to stop you there, but the shop exclusive and the TAA and the
Federal Cigar and Smoke Inn probably have enough cigars released in theirs that they could actually dominate a top 25 list if every one of them had the ability to make that list. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about some of the popular ones, Josh. I mean, there's the Cigar Federation, the TAA exclusive, though. Talk a little bit about that.
There was well, for the TAA, I think the most popular one they also called the TAA the Angel's Anvil from Tatawahe. That's probably one of the most highly anticipated ones. And then for shop exclusives, Cigar Federation, which is an online retailer and based out of Delaware, they had the Buckingham from Crown Heads, which I know that got a lot of buzz when that came out because it was Crown Heads recently went on like a short run limited release spree. They might have overdone it a little bit, but Buckingham was kind of towards the beginning of that, so they still had a lot of hype for that. And one of the more popular ones, who is it? Smoke Inn that does that microbrew series.
Yes.
And they have the Pope of Greenwich,
I think it is.
something like that. And that's a line of cigars by Drew Estate, and those are meant to be paired with different beers and have different kinds of infusions from what I hear in there. So
Well, what the
that's
TAA is basically is a club or a membership group that you have to be invited into in the cigar world. Pay membership dues. If you're invited in, you become a member, and then you're able to get these cigars.
Yeah, you
Cigar
can't just do
Federation is a retailer online that these manufacturers have created a cigar for only them to sell. So in your neighborhood brick and mortar, you can't get your hands on it.
Right.
Same with Smoke Inn, which is why it becomes frustrating if you look at a list, a broad list of cigars. You can't go to your local shops. You can't find it in your city. And it's almost like they're rubbing it in your face
Yeah.
that they have it and you don't.
Get on the plane, fly to Florida, go to Smoke Inn, buy your cigars, get back on the plane, fly home. It's an expensive way to shop for cigars. If you're in
Absolutely. By the
Pittsburgh.
time you get there, they're sold out. Caldwell just had a release online. They sold all their boxes in 40 minutes or
Yeah.
something crazy like that. So
same with Crown Heads with their Los Caballeros line. They do an annual release with that,
Yeah,
and that
we-
one didn't last
we
more
were
than
supposed to
36
get that,
hours, and they were
we haven't
totally sold
gotten
out.
it yet.
is it gone already?
It's gone. It was gone the day after they announced it.
But I haven't. I heard it hasn't shipped yet. Is that true?
No, it didn't sell to consumers. It sold to the retailers in
Okay.
that short amount of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been on
Right.
the list for that cigar for 2 months. But that's there's goods and
That
bads.
gives you an example of what goes on in the industry with short run. You have some that are so tight, so popular, so short, that even retailers have a hard time grabbing onto them, even through normal channels.
Absolutely.
We have one coming up in the summer from Perdomo that, I'd bring him up.
Yeah.
That
What's coming
is
from Padona?
the double-aged vintage 12-year in 3 wonderful wrappers.
Tell us a little bit about that cigar.
No, but once again, that's something that is even restricted to how many retailers will be allowed to have that.
And there's also
400
requirements on how many you have to buy,
worldwide.
right?
400 worldwide is a small group of cigar retailers.
Oh, and what the manufacturers can do with limited release cigars, guys, is they can put, basically, they can put, what's the word I'm looking for here? They can, not restrictions, but they can put
Minimum purchases.
minimum purchases. They can force you to take so many cigars on if you want to be one of the retailers that carry that cigar. Similar to what Perdomo has done to limit the retailers down, and also, some of these other exclusives. You can't just say, I just want 1 box of this and not carry the rest of their line.
That's right.
You have to already be in with them on the line to qualify for some of
Yes.
these limited releases. If you have an entire cabinet at the Drew Estate and then you want to call up and you want their brand new Opus, that doesn't happen. Let's talk a little bit about some of those exclusive lines, like I just mentioned, Opus, that are a little different to find. They're not necessarily small batch or short run cigars, but they are what you would call exclusive cigars in the industry. Some that come to the top of my mind would be Liga Privada from Drew Estate. You have to hit certain numbers to be able to sell them. Opus from Fuente, and Davidoff, you just have to give them an awful lot of money. So there are some cigars out there that would be considered exclusive that not everybody can get their hands on, but they're not necessarily limited edition.
No, the Davidoff production, I'm sure, is fairly generous. The only stipulation is the amount of investment that a retailer has to make in order to carry that cigar.
You could almost lump Padron in with that too. They're the same way on a smaller scale than Davidoff, but they have a pretty steep requirement, don't they? Or
Yeah,
is you, not so much.
nothing close to.
Okay, yeah.
No, I mean, Padron, if you can get a hold of them on the telephone, they want 12 boxes on the shelf, where Davidoff,
okay. I thought it was
Davidoff
16.
wants, Padron wanted 16.
16.
But then Davidoff wants you to buy a humidor that lights up when he
Everything.
walks by and fill the humidor. It's about a $40,000 to $45,000 investment as we stand today, just to put Davidoff inside of your
And you
location.
have to carry every single production cigar that they make. So that's and that's a whole different world of retail. And that's why you might come into our shop and not see Davidoff.
Right.
But you'd go somewhere else in Pittsburgh and you might find Davidoff.
Absolutely.
Someplace.
Yeah, it's definitely a commitment when you go down the Davidoff road, and you'll find out that some cigar makers, they want you to almost be exclusive with them, and Davidoff creates that exclusivity, But they're a great company. They have like the Davidoff concierge, or if you're on vacation, you can call into the hotline, and they can either tell you where a Davidoff is in your area, or if there's no Davidoffs in your area, they'll actually overnight you Davidoffs, which is pretty interesting.
Pretty crazy.
Exclusivity when it comes to being a regular Davidoff smoker.
Right.
But no one's overnighting you an EP Carrillo short run. I'll guarantee you that.
No, and he does a short run every year, and it's not always the same blend, and that I think that makes that interesting. A retailer, a consumer coming in and looking for these should be able to come in and ask a retailer what kind of limited production cigars. I think that's something that wouldn't hurt to do, to just come in to your local shop, ask them what might you have that's a limited edition or a small run cigar, because it's something that you'd have a chance to try one or two then, maybe more if they have more, but you try that then, and it may be the only time you get to experience that.
And that can be good and bad, Josh, right? If you really like a cigar, say this cigar right here, which just happens to be my favorite cigar in the store.
How long you can get it for?
What happens when it goes away? What's some of the cigars you like that may no longer exist?
Well, I was a big fan of that group with the Maestro, but it's a one and done deal. We're out of ours. I think the other shops in the area, they got theirs before us, and they're out of theirs. So if I want to smoke one of those, I'm pretty much out of luck. There was, I think, the Oliva V Maduro was a Churchill last year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed that cigar, the one that I had, but who knows how many years before they make a Churchill again. And I know there's a lot of guys, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, a lot of guys that really enjoy the Añejo, and that builds up hype throughout the year, so it's more special when it comes out, but I'm sure there'd be plenty of guys that would buy those year-round if they had the opportunity. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great cigar. As you can see, the construction's perfect on them. I mean, Fuente never misses on construction. The flavor's fantastic, and it is something worth waiting for, which is kind of why I like the yearly release. Even, like we were talking about before, there's something to be said about each one of them, but it's kind of fun to look forward to it again.
Yeah.
Smoking something that you'll never smoke again.
I'm looking forward to the double vintage 12-year.
You're looking forward to the Perdomo release?
Not just because it's a Perdomo, but because it's a good cigar, and I enjoyed the few that I had last year. That we had to pay retail for.
Yeah, exactly. But when they come out, and there's something to be said about it when it's an annual release.
Right.
Or a biannual release like they do. AKA does that with the Respect line, where a portion of the proceeds of one of their cigar blends actually go to the Wounded Warriors Foundation, which is a great cause.
Right.
They bring out a different blend every 2 years. The problem is, if you have a hit blend like they did with the 11,
and then you bring in the 13.
you bring in the 13 and you miss, all that point of raising money for the Wounded Warriors kind of goes a little bit downhill, because you were selling the 11, you reblend it, come out with the 13, and it's not as popular or successful. I think that might be the problem too with releasing something that you plan on doing biannually that isn't the same. I do find a problem in that, because if it's the same, you at least have something you can go back and look forward to. If I told you, okay, this Master Collection 3, I love this cigar, it's gone, 2 years from now we're going to make it again, guess what? I'm marking on my calendar when the cigar is coming back out. But if they told me 2 years from now they're going to make Master Collection 4 and it's going to be completely different, I'll wait to reserve my judgment when I smoke it.
Right.
So there's something to be said about each. Yeah, right. But I'll get it in and try it anyway. Some of the brands, guys, that do this the most. Josh, you hit on Jericho Hill a little bit. They seem to be, Crowned Heads.
Yeah.
They seem to be doing this an awful lot.
Almost a little overboard, but
Mason-Dixon, that was a great one.
well, yeah, they've been doing a combination of. We talked about the retailer exclusives, and there's also the regional exclusives. Like there'll be some. A couple brands have cigars you can only get in Texas, and with Crown Heads, they did the one called the Mason-Dixon. Everybody that was north of the Mason-Dixon got one blend. Everybody that was south got a different blend. So stuff like that I think is really fun. But when you've got seemingly a different regional exclusive in every state, plus one for every major retailer out there, and then 3 annual releases, it's a little hard to keep track of them all, I think.
No, I'm with you on that one. It is hard to keep track of. It's hard to get your hands on. If you have one, somebody wants the other. But it makes good for trade bait in the cigar world right now. There's a lot of trading sites going on and a lot of cigar trading, like on Reddit or Cigar Bomb or who else is doing the trading?
I don't trade.
There's a handful of cigar forums that get into it. I think even on like the Cigar International forums and stuff, you can get on there and.
You're right that there is something about that though that people looking forward to getting their hands on a cigar will look around. I think we'll check in different shops, call shops, drop in on shops, see what they want, see what is available in limited editions. And I think the great thing about that, as good as all the cigars are that are being made now, these cigars have something special about them.
They absolutely do. I think they're able to put a little bit, since it's a smaller run, you can buy a little less tobacco, which might be able to, sometimes the price points on these are also a little bit higher.
They've aged longer usually.
Yeah, they've aged longer. The tobaccos, if you're making a short run and you're a small company, you're buying less tobacco, probably at a more of a premium. So you're going to find them to be a little bit more expensive sometimes than your everyday production cigar. But for the most part, they're still competitive in the price points. What do we have coming? There's something coming recent. Oh, the Small Batch and Romeo and Juliet have teamed up to make the first conglomeration between large and small in a
little small cigar company, and the second largest. Going together, there's a lot of trust that's got to happen between people here when you think about it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great combo, though. Both Dominican cigar manufacturers, and with the hype that they had coming off the #1 legal rating last year, and with Romeo and Juliet being the titan that they are, I think I can't wait to try it out. I hope it's not too.
And what Rafael Nodal and his team would do with, we talked about this earlier, about the resources that Altadis could put at his disposal.
Give those blenders over in aging room a little bit more money to play with, more tobacco.
And I don't think this is the first time you're going to see this either, guys. I think this is going to be the first of many. I think you're going to start to see a lot more collaboration cigars.
The Mayuzi was a collaboration between Joya de Nicaragua and Drew Estate.
Right, who have more of a knit working relationship.
Right.
I think this is the first one that really went outside of the shell because, Altadis has nothing to do with boutique cigars. But
and their advertising as such, it has the F naming classifications on there. They have aging room, I think, right there on the box or on the band or something like that. It's pretty well advertised at what's going on, as opposed to other cigars have been collaborated on, but not as broadcasted as this.
No, and Pete Johnson from Tatawahi, he works a lot with his brother and with others and with my father, and everyone, an Ashton cigar, it's being blended either by my father's cigars or Fuente.
Right.
So there's collaborations going on like that, but this isn't advertised. And craft beer has gone that way. We've talked about those similarities in the cigar world and in the craft beer world. There's a lot more interbrewery collaborations, so
the similarities.
There's actually one up north in Meadville with Voodoo Brewery, with Erie, with Lavery, and with Blue Canoe.
No kidding.
That made the 814. That's the area code up there. They made like a citrus wheat beer, but that collaboration, I know that Anchor out in San Francisco has done a nationwide collaboration and actually put 24 different bottles in each case.
Wow.
So Anchor hooks up with 24 different breweries. They make the Anchor X, Anchor Y, Anchor Z, and they put all 24 bottles in a case, which is a great way to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised, guys,
to see some stuff like this in the cigar industry.
Because look at Monte Cristo has kind of done that already with that regional Vegas, Texas,
Yeah.
New York. What's
They
the other
did
one?
it
You've
with
got the
the
Tatuaje,
Chicago.
the monster
Plus
ones
they
that have
did
all
it
the
with
different
the
single sticks
Espada.
in
Yep.
there.
They already tried it with the Espada, if you think about it. Placentia worked on that cigar for them.
Well, I think the grower versus brand has always happened.
Sure.
But not brand
But
versus
they don't. The
brand.
grower doesn't usually
Brand and
get
brand
as much
collaboration.
credit.
No. No, absolutely not.
Not too many people out there know who the Placentas are. That
No.
There's another Oliva family that just grows tobacco.
Yeah, that isn't
Yeah, no,
associated with Oliva cigars. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's and then, the Padrones and the
Which
Fuentes
makes
and
it confusing
Yes.
for some people.
racist Cubanos. Like, who knows them?
Right. And
You know.
yet they make great cigars.
Exactly.
Illusione, Alec Bradley, some of the best rated cigars of the last 5-6 years.
Obviously, you need to collaborate with a manufacturer, but I think really where that real hit is going to come when it's brand versus brand. It's brand and brand coming together to make a new brand.
Yep.
That's like Coke and Pepsi making a Pepsi Coke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
they're not doing that.
It's more like maybe Pepsi and Josh and Ed's soda company
Yeah.
going together and making something with this Romeo and
Wait till
Juliet
Alternates in
agent.
general get together and make a Macanudo Romeo.
Now we're talking.
Aroma Macanudo.
A Romeo Macanudo.
Romeo
think that-
The
Macanudo.
Mackie.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Romeo E. Macanudo. No, me neither.
But you heard about the collaboration of all collaborations, where there's a beer company that's using Maduro tobacco leaves to create a beer. Have we heard anything else about that?
No.
I haven't heard anything more
I
either.
think maybe with Southern Tier was rumored to be working on a
Yeah,
well, no one would say who that brewer
tobacco
is.
flavored beer, which
So some vodkas have already tried
I'm all
that
about.
infusion, and some whiskeys have done
Yeah.
the tobacco. But I don't know about
And
that.
I don't know if this craft beer series
Stick to smoking my
that
tobacco.
that Perdomo's coming out with, I don't know if it's going to be a limited edition or they're going to try to make it a regular run. What? I got,
What's Perdomo coming out with? Come on. Yeah. Oh, man.
I wear the cap,
I
man.
know, hey, got to champion the cause. But yeah, they are coming out with a series hopefully this summer that is going to pair up with your favorite beers. They're going to try
Right.
to pair a stout and IPA and fun
Right.
things like that.
Right.
So
curious about how the
I'm
IPA
curious.
works out.
I'm curious what they're going to do with an IPA because I've always found it a tough pairing. So guys, in closing, what do we like about these cigars? Which ones do you guys want to smoke? What are we lighting up next? Something coming out that we're looking forward to?
Well,
I hope to get
already
my hand on
talked.
some of the Tatuajes coming up, including the Angel's Envy, or that's a beer. That's an alcohol.
Yeah.
Angel's Anvil.
Angel's
That's
Anvil.
why.
Is that a TAA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we won't get
The
that.
TAAs are rough. We didn't mention. I think there's only 86 or something like that nationwide TAA accounts. So there's pretty stringent requirements. You got to be a tobacco shop for 5 years and get certifications from different places and
Be
recommendations and all
certified
kinds
not
of stuff.
to be a non-tobacco also. That can hold you up.
Nah, there's a waiver for everything.
I think that people doing things like Davidoff did with Avo is interesting. I'd like to see more people try just a limited release Vitola,
Yeah.
even on something of their regular line. It's like I tried to talk
Nick and the Making a Lancero.
into making a Lancero in the
20th.
in the 20th,
Yeah.
and he says, "No, you couldn't put the Lajero would be missing by the time you made that little cigar."
Yeah, and certain cigars can't go into different
Yeah,
sizes,
yeah.
but overall, guys, I think limited edition cigars could be a lot of fun. Good to pick up at your local retailer. It's great to always have something different that you can get your hands on in the industry. And I think right now we're in a trend of an awful lot of them coming and going.
Rodrigo
So,
did.
Yeah, absolutely. When you start
Corona
getting,
Project.
I think even more and more of the smaller companies are going to go to this limited release because full production just doesn't allow you to have the freedom that the short run, where you have the creativity that happens again. It's like making one piece of art. Who wants to make the same art over and over and over and over again?
Yep.
You do if you want to make money, but if you're in it for the artistic, qualities of the
both
cigar.
ways. You create a buzz for something like George did for Corona Project,
Right, and you sell it out.
and you
made
sell
money,
it out.
and do it again.
You know you'd had it. You got your money. You don't have another production cigar that is maybe backed up a little bit on inventory
No, absolutely.
in different sizes and things.
But like I said, limited edition cigars can be fun. We're out of time. We could ramble on all day. We could probably tell you about 5 more Perdomo releases, but we won't bother with
I
that.
only know one more.
We'll only have one more. Go to your local shop, pick up a limited edition cigar. They'll find something that you like in your flavor profile, something in the right wrapper, something in the right tobacco. Make sure you get outside and burn one.
Thank you for watching this edition of Inside the Humidor. We want to encourage you to give us questions. We'd like to have the opportunity to interact with you. If you have something for us, you can reach us at info@smokestackpgh.com. Is there another address we can use?
Yeah, if you want to do either Josh or Ed at stackcigars.com or on Twitter at stackcigars.com or at smokestackpgh. Be happy to answer your questions on air. And also keep an eye out for our website, stackcigars.com. Again, we've got limited release cigars on there, a lot of them, some other boutique blends and that kind of stuff. So check us out, and thanks for watching.
You know, before we close up, limited edition cigars aren't all $15 and $20 cigars. You'll find limited edition cigars here from as low as $5 a stick up to $20 sticks. So come on in and try one of these limited edition cigars.